Okay, so name Terminator Dark Fate. Did you see it? I did. One sentence summary. Imagine the original Terminator with, a Terminator trying to kill Sarah Connor, but Kyle Reese, who protects her, this is a long sentence, but Kyle Reese is played by a cybernetically enhanced future soldier, also like an aged battle hardened Sarah Connor, also an actual Terminator. And imagine the Terminator hunting her in that original one could split in two. And it was the exoskeleton of the T800 and the liquid metal of the T1000. Imagine all of that, but it sucks. Could you beat the villain? So Sarah Connor mentions that since a Terminator killed John Connor after the events of Terminator 2, so in the 90s, she has hunted Terminators. Then she mentions like 2 or 3 incidents when she actually hunted Terminators. So like, let's say 5 over 30 years, including the original films as well. I don't really think that's hunting them, but whatever. Anyway, she's supposed to be good at this, is the point of what I'm rambling about. But the entire film, she and other characters fire a pistol at this Terminator. Why bother? It doesn't even slow the robot down. If it were me, it's a robot. It's made of metal. So A, I'm going to get some thermite and melt the bastard into a slag heap. Or B, I'm going to get some liquid nitrogen and freeze the bastard, then smash it. That's what I'm going to do. How do you improve this film? So this is a sequel to Terminator 2 because Rise of the Machines, Salvation and Genesis suck ass, and everyone agrees. So it's a reboot really more than a sequel, but there we go. But they've used ideas from Rise of the Machines, Genesis and Salvation. Why have you taken a whole bunch of ideas from stuff that didn't work, thinking this was going to work? I don't know. Anyway, so the Terminator, the original Terminator, and like in Terminator 2 as well, they're unstoppable killing machines, and they keep coming at you until they kill you or whatever. This Terminator, I think it was an R9 or Rev9 or something along those lines, was actually quite chatty. He was a conversational fellow. He made a couple of jokes. And at the end, he even tries to like reason with. So Danny is the target. He even tries to reason with Arnie, Sarah Connor, and Cyborg Lady Grace. That doesn't seem like an unstoppable killing machine to me. If he's like, "Hey, come on, just stand out of the way. Be cool, be cool, be cool. Why aren't you being cool?" In Terminator 1, I'm pretty sure it's Kyle Reese explains that they can't bring like weapons or anything along those lines or clothes back from the future because only biological matter will go through the time machine. Thus, the Terminators, they're covered in skin, they'll go through, even though they're a robot. But the new Terminator in this has liquid metal skin, and like it touches some clothes and it uses its liquid metal skin to make the appearance of clothes. So A, how did it go through the time machine like the T1000? If it's not organic, how did it go through? But so let's just say it can go through with the liquid metal, fine, okay. Why didn't, if its skin morphs into clothes, why didn't the robot come through the time portal wearing clothes? And I guess if you were as buff as Arnie, yeah, you wouldn't, but this was just like a non-intimidating dude. Anyway, the time bubbles, I'm getting off track. The time bubbles, they pop both the people out from the future, like mid-air. Why would you do that? Like, if you've got the power to go through time, try and aim for the ground, or at least close to the ground. Anyway. The new Terminator is not an unstoppable killing machine. It's just like some dude, like I said. And like, it gets the crap kicked out of it on numerous occasions. Like, it's not so much that the people have just got to run for their life and, oh no, scary, unstoppable killing machine. It's like, well, I've just smashed it in the face with a sledgehammer and I've done pretty well, but now I'm going to run away for a bit. Or, oh man, I've just blown this thing up and I've done pretty well, but now I'm going to run away for a bit. Or the several other times that happens in the film. So Sarah's asked how she knew the characters, like Grace, the cyborg lady, and Danny, the target, would be on a highway at a certain time. She's asked that twice. And eventually she's like, oh man, I'm getting text messages that tell me when time bubbles are going to appear and a Terminator is going to pop out. Okay, that doesn't explain how you knew they were going to be on the highway though, because there wasn't a time bubble on the highway. Doesn't make any sense. He can track Sarah Connor using her mobile phone, which she, for some reason, keeps in a bag of potato chips. So the foil, the FBI or whoever, can't track her. But then Arnie reveals, you're an idiot, of course we can still track you through a foil bag. Side note, there's a bit where Sarah throws Danny's phone away. If she genuinely believes that the foil bags can protect the phones from being tracked, why was she doing a dick move like that? Why not just put her phone in a foil bag? Anyway, right. That he can track Sarah Connor's phone, even though it's in the potato chips. So Sarah had her own episode of America's Most Wanted, and the authorities are still interested in her. So why isn't she in jail? Skynet's not a thing anymore. Ended Terminator 2. Sarah's changed the future. Okay, fair enough. Is going on if they've changed the future enough that Skynet doesn't exist, but the future is still killer robots called Terminators that look exactly like the other Terminators and are basically the same as other Terminators, fighting a human resistance with time machines. How has it ended up exactly the same, but Skynet has changed its name to Legion? And also I don't understand why they've got the biblical reference there. Did the robots pick that name or did some humans? And if they did, they were asking for trouble. Look, you can tell I got really upset about this, by the way. I don't know why. So Grace, the robot-human hybrid, she passes out and Sarah Connor dumps a load of ice on her and they're on a motel bed. And Danny goes, shouldn't we do that in the bath? And Sarah says, have you seen the bath? Implying that the bath is disgusting. I'm guessing though, the bed probably isn't much better. And the bath is just a superior way of dumping ice on someone. Anyway. Sarah Connor's introduction, she's a badass. Yeah, she shoots the one Terminator robot. It falls off of a overpass and it's all wounded and stuff, and she's going to go down there and finish it off. But then Grace and Danny steal her car and she decides, I'm just going to leave this killer robot, it's probably fine. She's supposed to be good at this. Right, so in Terminator 2, and I know I'm referring back to the Terminator 2 a lot, and Terminator 1, but this because those are the good ones. But in that one, it's shown that the Arnie D800 can learn if they flip its brain to like learning mode or whatever. But the Arnie robot in this one that killed John Connor in the 90s has been living as just a regular guy called Carl who does drapes and stuff for reasons. But it's been living as a regular person for the last 20, 30 years. Now, I can buy that it's a robot, so it could potentially hack and make itself a driving license or something along those lines. I can even buy that his wife and adopted son don't know he's a robot, because why would they assume that? They just think he's a bit of a weird guy. Fine. But in all of these films, dogs have always barked at Terminators. Arnie's robot Terminator had a pet dog. So like maybe it looked like a fairly old dog, it's just grown accustomed to Arnie. But surely the dog, when it was little, would have just gone mental all the time like the scary robot man. Sarah meets an old contact in the film whose name I believe was Major Plot Device. And he gives the gang some EMPs. He also allows them onto an Air Force base whilst they're in a gunfight. He gives them a plane from the Air Force base and he arranges an escort for said plane. I call bullshit. Like, who was that guy? Was he like the president of the army or something like that? No one questioned him. Danny asks what an EMP is the second time they're mentioned in the film. So presumably when they're on the caravan train thing, someone's like, oh man, EMPs. She was just like, I know what those are. And then when they brought them up again and they were integral to a plan, she was like, alright, I don't know what those are. I'm sorry, I lied earlier. The team are on that plane that I mentioned that for some reason they were given. And, you know, the plane's crashing, because why wouldn't it be? And they're all flying around the cargo bay. And I couldn't really see what was going on. It was blurry and dark and all that CGI bollocks. But that was basically the same thing that what happened in that much better Hindi film I watched earlier in the year, War. And that was just one dude doing all that. He didn't even need to be a robot. It's kicking ass. Anyway, go and watch that film instead of this. Oh yeah, this is the bit where the film lost me. I wasn't just like annoyed that it didn't match up properly with the other ones. It just started pissing me off. She's never going to call him Carl. So obviously, she's going to call him Carl at the end of the film, at the climax. And that's what happens. So the Rev 9 or whatever it is, it's looking like it's probably going to kill Danny. And Sarah Connor's all like, oh, Carl, you've got to get up, you've got to help her. And then Arnie, who has been like, his eyes not glowing redder anymore, he wakes up. Now, either he is an unstoppable killing robot man, or he's a dude. Unstoppable killing robots don't go unconscious, apart from, like, for emotional reasons that make no sense. Anyway, Grace spends a lot of time in this film smashing people's heads against walls. My question to her is, you're from the future. How do you know that the head you are smashing against a wall isn't someone who's going to be important to the human resistance in 20 years' time, and now you've given them brain damage? Riddle me that. Are smuggled from Mexico to the US, and there's a secret little trapdoor under the border wall that they don't close. So they've just gone and ruined it for everyone now. It felt like this film was targeted at being modern, what with the drones and the migrant caravan and the strong female cast and US borders and all that sort of stuff. Like, don't try so hard. God damn it. Infiltration robot. That's what a Terminator is. Why are they so terrible at infiltration? Goes to the US border camp thing where they're locking people up. That's the scariest thing because that's real. Anyway, goes there and the security like, hey, holster your weapon. He's like, okay, cool. And then he goes through the metal detector. He's like, hey, my whole body's a weapon. And they're like, you crazy. And then he goes through the metal detector. There's a big old ping. And he's like, yeah, no, I've got a robot hip. Metal hip because I was in Iraq 2 tours. And everyone's like, oh, cool. So obviously it can lie. It can, lie its way through a situation. Good, lovely. And then, like 10 seconds later, it just starts murdering everyone. Why bother doing the lie if you're just going to kill everyone? Why not, as the Terminator did in the first film, just drive a fucking car through the front of the building and get on with it that way? Anyway, rating out of 5 beers. I would give this a 4. I was going to give it a 5, but then I thought, there's a good idea in this franchise. I'm going to rewrite it and I'm going to get it right. But this Terminator needs to die and they need to stop making these now. Please. Right? That's all. Goodbye.